What up, everybody? Live Reality Games Podcast coming at you. I'm Daniel Ball. He's Steven Stewart. And we got the Survivor 48 Episode 6 recap. And Steven, I like this jam, but I like to talk Survivor a little bit better. So let's get rid of the music and let's get ourselves prepared for the discussion that is at hand, because I don't know if you've noticed my tagline here. I am taking applications for the Mary fan club. Let's go.
Mary gives good confessionals. So I'm here for it.
And you know, the swap was exactly what was needed for Mary, and this merge was
the most merge we've had in a while.
Yeah. Because it was a challenge, and it was here's your buffs, and like I don't feel like
where one person was immune,
mm-hmm.
and yes, they didn't get buffs per se, which kind of sucks to get voted out without the merge buff. But this was merged everything but name only,
right? Yeah, and I'm wondering what the name is going to be. Has that been leaked? Do we have a merged name, tribe name?
Yeah, I thought it was like cow's milk in a different language or something silly like that.
David came up with that, I bet. Anything milk related, that's David. But let's kind of give the rundown before we get into this. Obviously, the merge. Here's what we got. We got Eva. She's got an idol. Star, who gave Eva an idol. David, Charity, for now. Mary, Chrissy, Mitch, who has a block of vote. Cedric, Say, Joe, Shaheen, Camilla, and Kyle. I still am having a tough time. I don't know. When you look at that list, we know that Charity goes home this episode, and we'll talk about how all that happened. But when you remove Charity from that list, I still can't give you a definitive winner. I still feel like it could go a lot of different ways.
I mean, I think the only answer is Say.
I mean,
this is Say season. We're all obsessed with her. It's her world. We're just living in it.
Yeah, I would like to see Mary win. Don't get me wrong, but Say's another one. I see and read a lot of people that are just not fans of Say.
Say, we're not. Daniel, are you a fan of Say's gameplay?
I'm not necessarily a fan of her gameplay, but I'm not the person that's going to be mad about how she's playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the jury, is what you're saying,
right? And with that, who knows? She might find herself in the final three. And to be honest, if she rubs people the wrong way, you might want to just take her. She might eliminate all her votes throughout this process. And I think that'll be a topic of conversation, I'm sure, as she stays in the game. But we open
before we dig into the merge. Do you plan on talking about Bianca's vote out still?
We can, and it's still strange to me that Say says that she can't stand Cedric, but yet doesn't do a whole lot to force the hand. Her vote is her vote, and she can vote for him, but it's going to take more than just her. But instead of advocating for those things to happen, and I think there's people that would go with her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mitch is a prime example. Mitch would just do whatever anybody tells him to do, I think. And you get Mitch, then you get Charity on top of it this episode, and then you probably get a David, and then you get the rest of that Siva tribe that was original probably voting with you just because it's not them.
Well, yeah, so we get a lot of confusion at the beginning of the episode about what just happened, and Say's blaming Cedric, then apologize to Cedric, and it comes clear that, because we kind of discussed this last time, how did this vote happen? How did Bianca get blindsided? And it's clear we didn't get to see, but it's confirmed in this episode that Cedric grabbed Christy, said we're being played, and they both then acted on it. And I guess this kind of follows what we said, Bianca talked herself out of the game, right?
Yep.
Which is just wild to me.
I mean, if she doesn't tell Cedric that she doesn't have a vote, the I mean, Say goes home. Like, does she like? Am I wrong here? Like,
I mean, yeah, it ties, and Cedric probably flips some votes on Say because why? Because that, given his history.
yeah, and so she votes herself out, like you said, I think, and really, it's just another like example of this battle between Say and Cedric on who's playing the worst game.
Well,
Uh,
it's wild to me. You look at like the confessional counts, the confessional time tracker. We just don't get a much Cedric, and just because he's been in the middle of all these debacles. It's crazy to me.
I will say this. Remember Andy last season? I was so gung ho on that guy didn't know what he was doing, and we got to get him out of this game. And yet he flipped the switch and he actually had a lot of power before his demise. And so like I don't know if that's what's going to happen with Cedric, but I think him and Say they've got to shit or get off the pot, so to speak, because like they either need to work together or they need one of them needs to go.
Mhm.
And I personally I think I would rather Say stay in the game and Cedric leave, but I don't know. That goes against a lot of what other people out there are clamoring for. So
I
if
mean, Say makes good television. Say does not dissemble or hide her emotions. You kind of see what it is, and she's going for it hard. I mean, the
Mhm.
scene where she just chases down Charity and steals the idol, I think, was a great encapsulation of Say.
It's that was great camera work, all the way around. Like you hear Say, but you don't see her, and then all of a sudden, as they pan into the idol, you see her almost as if she just like cuts off Charity and takes it from her.
And
Do you think
so,
if Charity gets that, like, do you think she's able to save herself? I honestly I don't think she wins no
no,
matter what, and she goes
no,
home. But
maybe maybe there's a world where she does win the challenge, and this is a whole different episode, but I don't see it being that way.
no, I
Um,
don't. I don't think the advantage would have helped her one way or another. It would have given her an opportunity to bypass that first part, but
I
I
mean,
think the
if
second part
anything,
wouldn't have done anything.
it might have helped Say because Say like throws out names at that merge feast, and this isn't your normal merge feast where everyone's
Mhm.
immune, therefore like there's no repercussions. This is like everyone's like, huh, hey Eva, Say's throwing your name out, and therefore she gets targeted.
Um, they the boat comes, everybody gets excited. They talk about the merge or what is potentially going to be the merge. They all go to Loggie's camp and Say is excited to be reunited with Mary, but Mary is not so much. And
Mary
this is
recognizes a hurricane when she sees it.
Yep, and this is what I love so much about Mary is that she thinks it, but doesn't say it to their face, even though she really wants to. But during confessionals, then she says it. She lets you know how she feels, and then she's got some good one-liners and zingers in there too that I really like. Is Mary Say's only chance to move forward in this game?
I mean, so I think I think Say's biggest opportunity will come from you have 5 original orange, you have 5 original pink, right?
Yep.
And then that puts Mary sit. Actually, no, those numbers aren't right. You have like four. You have 4 pink, 5 orange, something like that. I don't know. You have these large original tribes that will be duking it out for 1 or 2 more rounds, and that's
Right.
gonna be Say's um, life vest unless something really nasty happens next episode if they do 2 tribes of six both for the tribal council.
Ooh, that would be. You think they're going to do that? I would like to
Um,
see that
this
actually.
is about the time when they do like the half of like we're gonna split the tribe into five vote here or 6 vote here, 6 vote there. Double each tribe has someone being immune. It's kind of a swap in different colors,
Yeah,
right? It's kind of their favorite thing they do in the new era.
they'll say this is a random pick. and then it gets heavily favored in one side or the other. But in this situation, though, it wouldn't matter because it's individual immunity. It's not.
But like, think about what happened to Rachel last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rachel is in this group where it's her, the 5 original blue players and her, and then just the randomness of the draw. And Rachel likely goes home unless she doesn't get that advantage, or she didn't play herself in darks. Rachel probably is out that round if it's not for this like lucky advantage, which we may see something similar happen where 2 tribes, 2 teams compete, one team gets a reward, gets to rescue a player, etc.
So everybody gets a feast. It's nice. They are excited. They're pumped. David and Joe, they bond over milk. I mean, what did you think David was going to talk about? You know?
So Daniel, do you drink that much milk?
I drink quite a bit of milk, but I don't think I could. I don't drink a gallon. There's no way. There's not a chance.
You have kids. Milk is probably a fixture in your household.
Yeah. It's we don't even go through a gallon maybe every 3 or 4 days.
Well, see, here's your problem. You're just doing what, 2%?
Yes. No,
yeah,
we're doing whole milk. Whole milk.
Chocolate milk.
Yeah. No, we can't do chocolate. We gotta the kids, man. I can't. It's one thing to get them to drink milk. If I get them drinking chocolate milk before they drink milk, they'll never drink milk. It'll always be chocolate.
And they'll be bouncing off the walls.
Right. So, you know, they're bonding. Joe and Eva say, you know, they want to make a solid 5. So between the 2 of them, they want Kyle, David, and Shaheen. They want to get all the big, powerful, physical people
with integrity.
I mean, in a game that not 5 people can win, Joe. Come on, all right. So at some point,
getting your 5, the final 5, harder to do than expected, and is a win in and of itself. And is a winning move if you are on the top of that 5, and it's a losing move if you're not.
Yeah, and you know what? Dummies like me that think that that's going to happen, like it doesn't happen. So, you know, what's your thought on that group? Like the mentality of let's get the strongest players and bring them together.
Eva, Shaheen, and Kyle, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It cracked me up. They're like, well, we like Shaheen. We know he's devious, but that's okay for now. They just kind of like say it's a known issue, but that's okay. It's like, oh, interesting.
I just think it's funny, and it's pretty ironic that we want people that play with integrity, but then they turn around and go, well, Shaheen, he's in the gray area, but he's integrity. Like, come on, brother.
And Kyle's like, you know, I've kind of lied a lot, but they don't need to know that.
Yep. Meanwhile, Kyle's got himself an idol had an idol, and like he's a player that can win challenges and do things. It's not like, you know, he's just some strong dude. Like, to me, David, I think, is that guy. Like, he's just the strong guy. Like, I don't foresee him finding an idol, or, you know, I don't even know if he'll win a challenge, to be honest. But it would have to be.
He won all the pre-merge challenges, so that counts.
But he had a lot of help too. I mean, it comes down to a puzzle, and I didn't see him anywhere near any of the puzzles at the end. He was he's on the block back. Flipping, and he's
pulling back.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, I'll say that. That's my tactic. Show physical, but don't let people know that you can do puzzles.
see, this is my problem. My philosophy is never volunteer, then look really sad as the part you probably should have volunteered for. The person just flops at because they wanted it. You're like, oh, I could have done better.
Yep. That's
I've watched people struggle with something challenges too much, so they'll let that happen again.
You know, and there's usually like in Survivor Angelica, there's the challenges where we had to decide like who's doing what piece of the challenge. I would say the majority of those challenges, I felt like there was 2 things that I could do in all of them. And I never once was like, that's what I'm going to do. Like, I need to do this because I know that I can do this.
People keep trying to make me the caller. I'm like, man, I'm just not loud. Don't make it like I can try, but it's not for me.
So Kyle, decides he's gonna be, in this dude's alliance, but he's
Never say no.
also he also wants Camilla to be involved too because they've been working and doing some things and like they've been working really well together. I think in his head, I think he believes that people still think they don't really get along with each other, like he was trying to portray. But
If it's working, I mean, it's pretty awesome.
yeah, yeah. Mitch, on the other hand, he wants to move forward with his Siva 6. This just kind of shows you where Mitch is at in the game. Like, I don't know when he like in regards to like when charity became, a topic of conversation, but like that's his number one. And I guess maybe they're not giving him any information because of that. But like he was very much unaware of charity being a vote, and he was very much unaware when he's like, I want to roll with Siva 6 that Kyle and Camilla are doing things and Kyle's working with the dudes and stuff like that. So like he's on the outside, I think, looking in, and he might be in that position. I don't know what you think, where he could be a swing vote one way or the other, because I don't see him being in any, or I don't see any alliance saying that they want Mitch. You see Mitch talking about, oh, well, I'll be a part of them. Well, are you? Like, I don't think so. But I do think he might be a good swing vote to have, especially he's sitting over there with his block of vote. That's pretty powerful stuff.
Well, I think again, if we get 2 tribes of 6, like doing 2 tribal counts coming up, right? It's like Mitch having the block votes be huge. Having that large Siva block of 5 players is gonna be huge. That gives him a lot of leverage going in, because I do think like they've taken out one orange player, but I think there's probably at least one more orange player needs to go before the game kind of splinters and it's not just us versus them and initial tribes, which is what makes this kind of alliance between David, Joe, Eva, Kyle, and Shaheen so interesting, is that it is this kind of inter-tribe thing. But is it going to be real, or is it like the strike force from David versus Goliath, which is teased but never happens?
Right. Do you? What is your thought on charity and not trusting Say, but also like where did this like? How is that the case? Is it just from her running in front of her, taking the advantage? Because I feel like you can't not trust somebody because they're trying to outrun you to something. And
It's my favorite reason to vote someone out. They're just playing too hard.
Yeah, I mean, I bring this up because this is where things turn for charity, and it really throws her in the mix of being the one that they're all looking at, because charity doesn't trust Say, but she does believe, and I think she brings up a valid point, is Eva, they need to get this idol out and possibly find a way to do it without Eva playing it. What is your thought on Eva having the idol? Because charity wasn't the only one that brought that up. Like there was a lot of people that believed like we need to do something about Eva.
So you think back last episode, Star gives up the idol. It's just kind of a wild thing to just say, here you go, free immunity, all yours. But like, it's kind of recognition that a publicly known immunity idol is not all it's cracked up to be. And so I love even more seeing how this episode goes. Star just kind of offloading this problem on the Eva, letting Eva be the target, and Star kind of gets this kind of new beginning as a result. And so I do agree with Charity saying, hey, 2 names. Think about it as Say, who's driving everyone up the wall already, versus Eva, who has power that we don't have. But it's, I don't know. Is it just too premature to push the stuff? Should she have waited till after the challenge to really kind of put the kind of get the word out? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the idol happened. Giving her that idol happened at the worst time, because now she's back with Joe, and now like they're deciding on who they're bringing in, and like it's going to be very difficult because I don't think they're going to have the numbers to blindside her. They may have the numbers to strike some fear and have her play it for no reason.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's a win in and of itself. But they do need to find a way that Joe, Eva, if this turns out to be a thing, Kyle, David, and Shaheen, they're going to have to figure out a way to sever that quickly, because I don't think that power alliance is going to stay true to one another, but I think they'll stay true to each other long enough to get some good players out of the game. You know, Charity talks to Star and confides in Star about, hey, we need to get Eva out of this game. Like, what do you think? Star, beautiful move by Star, because she is really playing towards Eva and the type of person she is by allowing her to have an idol. Now she's telling her information that is critical to her extension of her game. And I think Eva is going to find it tough not to want to protect Star, especially if this 5-person alliance rolls through. Star might be the 6th person, but at least she's in it.
Yeah, I was surprised that we didn't hear Star's name being thrown out saying, hey, someone else we should consider, someone who I kind of owe a bit of a debt to. Like, we can consider Star. I guess I was a little surprised that we didn't do that.
But I don't know how, like in their head, they might go, well, she deserves it because she opened it, like
that she gave it away.
Right. Here you go, have it, but
it's the whole Charity thing. Like, it was just kind of sitting there by Star and saying, do it, take it back, it's yours. She's trying to be that evil voice in Star's head.
But I think that's the only move for Star, is to give it to her, because like you said, it creates a target, and you don't necessarily want that target. But also, if Eva opens it and you don't give it to her, what do you think Eva is doing right now to her alliance of people?
Well, I mean, like, so you hand the cryptic to someone else and say, hey, let me try opening it. They open it. If they just keep the idol, they're like, aha, look, they're selfish, they're awful, look, they wronged me. You have all this ammunition against them. If they hand it back, which I think is what happened, she handed it back, and Star then said, no, you should keep it. Or something like that, right? So
yeah, I don't, it wasn't like this underhand thing where Eva was like, I opened it, so it's mine. No, I think it was understood, like, she opened it and Star was going to have it back, and Star was like, no, like, you keep it, you opened it, you helped me out. But I think that's a solid move on her part. I mean, obviously, when you talk about having the power to extend your game and keep you safe, and then you give it away to somebody, that's always like a risky move. Mm-hmm. I think in this situation, I think it was actually the best move that Star can make. Mm-hmm. They get to the reward and immunity challenge. So they divide them up into 2 teams of 6. You got the orange team, Mitch, Joe, Charity, Shaheen, Eva, Cedric. And you got the purple team, Camilla, David, Star, Kyle, Chrissy, and Mary. The winning team moves on to the immunity. Mm-hmm. And the way that it went down, you crawl through some wood shavings and a muddy hole. You take a grappling hook.
You get tarred and feathered.
Yeah, you look ridiculous. You can't see anything. Say gets her advantage and gets to skip all that, and she's glad to do so. And she gets the reward by doing that as well. Now, Purple ends up winning and earning the merge meal now, or getting the feast, and then Say will move on and play for immunity with the rest of Purple. You got to hold a ball on a pedestal, and every section you move your hand down the pedestal and you add a pole to it. So as time goes on, this tower that's holding this pedestal and this ball on this pedestal gets taller and taller. I mean, it goes on for way longer than I thought. Like, I don't know if there's a trick to this but like certain angles make it look like it's impossible, like it's defying gravity that the ball is still sitting on this little pedestal.
Well, there's a little like
A lip
to it,
on
right?
it?
Yeah, so
Maybe.
it's not simply a flat surface. Otherwise, that's impossible. So there's a little bit so it can roll, but you have to tilt it sufficient for it to fall off.
Yeah, but these poles are once they get high enough, they start bending, and then you got to play, and then you got wind, and it's just it's a whole scenario, it's a whole situation. But it comes down to Kyle and Star, and Kyle ends up beating Star, which I would have liked to have seen Star win that. I think that would have been good for her. But Kyle takes it down.
I mean, if you're Kyle, right? There's some optics, right? You are a physically built guy. It's hard to say no to immunity. Let's be honest. Like,
yeah,
I will probably always try my hardest to get challenge and try to win, even if I don't need it. But like winning the first mini challenge at Merge, something people remember, and especially people say, well, Kyle looks like he's a challenger and he wins, so he is a challenge threat. When do we get out challenge threats?
Yep, I know what that's like.
So like it feels like Kyle maybe should have just like sloughed it, let Star win. She's not a target. You're probably not a target. Yes, you're in scramble more, but that's okay.
Yeah. It's that whole side of, like, for me personally, I have like that too much, I guess ego is the, like, I'm very
I want to win.
Yeah, I don't want to lose. Like, that's the thing. Like, I want to win every time, like, there's a chance to win.
Play these games, right? We want to play these games. We want to give it all, try it all, like try to win. Yes, it means winning the challenge means we have less chance of winning the entire game itself, but we're not going to slouch at any of these.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but Survivor Angelica, like, that was my downfall. It was my downfall.
You're just too good.
I mean, you talked about winning the challenge, the first challenge after Merge. Like, I did that. And then you talk about winning more challenges. Well, I decided I would win the next one as well. That wasn't good.
Are you watching Survivor Pennsylvania by any chance?
I am.
Have you seen the most recent episode?
I'm halfway through, so I don't.
So you've seen Lydia begin to emerge as this challenge beast, and she's not what you would think as a challenge beast in most games, right? She's a smaller female competitor, but she's truly the best person on every team she's on. She's carrying teams to victory. It's just really fun to watch.
Yeah, and if as a viewer, like, if we're seeing that, like, the players in that moment are starting to see that as well, because I mean, like, it don't take much, like, especially with her, because it's not like she's a little bit better. Like, she is glaringly better.
Yeah. Going up twice to 2 duels, winning those duels, like.
Yep. Hey, and that sucks, because I'm sure, much like me, she's like, and you, like, I'm not going to give it to anybody. Like, they're going to have to earn it. If they want to beat me, they're going to have to earn it. And it sucks to suck, I guess. I don't know what else to say, but they go to a reward, and then this hit list comes out. Mitch has a block a vote, Eva has an idol, and Charity is not trustworthy. How does that narrative get spun? Like, I don't like. Okay, you can tell me Charity is someone that you don't necessarily want to work with, but like, what evidence out there is given to the fact that Charity can't be trustworthy? Like, I just don't know.
It feels like, I don't want to say this has been a character assassination of Charity these past several weeks, but Charity hasn't been painted in the most flattering light these past couple episodes. And it's hard to know, like, what she was saying and doing that really just kind of like drove people apart from her. Like, we hear people say, oh, Charity is fake or inauthentic, and like, I think when you're starving an island, you're pretty you, but like clearly like Charity just kind of something was off with their social game in this cast.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something though, because she, that quickly got traction about 2 weeks ago, and it got brought up again last week, and then here we are this week in a very crucial situation, getting ready to merge, and they're throwing that out the wall and seeing if it sticks, and sure enough, like it's there. While they're doing the reward at merge camp, or at what would be the merge camp, Cedric apologizes. And Charity, being Charity, is like, I'm gonna play dumb here. What is it like at Tribal? What do you mean? What is it like?
So fun, so enjoyable.
By the way, I've never been to Tribal. Like, what is it like?
Do you think people should be able to get to the merge without ever hitting Tribal?
I would say yes, because sometimes it's out of your control. Like,
you're just too good. You have Joey Amazing, and you just win everything.
Yeah, I mean that, or you get put with the right people and things play out the right way, and you just like, you get lucky, and it is what it is. But Charity, she's adamant about it being Eva. She wants to get this idol out. She thinks she's a threat, which I would agree with her. But then she's like, no, you know what? I want Say. Let's go Say. Eva can wait. Let's go Say.
Well, especially if you're thinking like, my way forward is the 6 original orange strong, and that's it. You just need a slouch vote, so like you don't need to push thing. So I can see Say kind of just being like the easy road to ride here, and because Say almost, like, I don't know, she almost digs her own grave this episode.
I feel like she does that a lot.
Yeah, but she hasn't gone voted out yet. Not
yet. But if it hadn't been for Cedric, she should have been.
Times, yeah.
Shaheen, he's like, we'll talk, but I want to wait for folks to get back. He's not sure. There is this push, and like Mitch is in this push that, there's a strong Siva 6, but Shaheen isn't, so like he's not sold on like the Siva tribe being strong. And I mean, here we are with Charity going up, and like you'll see, like it's not as strong as they thought it was.
Well, Mary, the way the vote split is wild.
Oh,
it's like there is some machination, because like it is. You look at how the votes happen, you're like, why did everyone vote the way they voted?
Do you have the votes?
Yeah.
All right, I want to get back to that in a second, but Mary and Say and Cedric say Charity is the safe and easy vote, even though Eva has the idol. Isn't this is just comical to me that Mary, Say, and Cedric are even talking about playing, like, are we coming full circle here? Did we just forget what happened the first 6 days of the game? Like,
and they're making up for lost time. My favorite thing about this conversation was how Mary describes Eva versus Charity. I can't remember when she says what Eva is like. Charity's a turtle, and I'm not afraid of turtles.
Yeah. And then you get Eva's perspective, and she's like, I want to get Say out, even though, what's crazy, Say is more so about Charity right now than anything. So it's almost like, is this a typical like thought process in like where people are at as far as what they know at this point in the game, because they've been away from each other, and now all of a sudden they're all together and they're trying to like craft these different narratives and see what's going on? And it seems to me like everybody has certain ideas, and some of them are the same, but nobody has like one solidified, like, oh, we got to do this.
Well, I think so. I mean, how large was your merge in Angelica?
I want to say it was like 11, 13, 12, 11. I can't remember. I have to go back and look.
Those are like, so how large did that group feel to navigate when you had, let's say, 11 people?
Well, at that point when we merged, so the first the way that the first challenge went is it was split off into guys and girls.
Mhm.
So there was 2 immunity necklaces for that. But one tribal, so to speak.
Yeah.
And after that it was split again. And then that was 2 separate tribals, and it
Okay.
was, you know, it was in a sense like you get back, and depending on what the numbers are, you're like, I need to catch up on some things. I was lucky enough to get back with a bunch of original, my original tribe members, and we had the advantage. And it was a matter of just doing a check-in to see where we were.
Yeah.
But it was difficult because now you're going, well, they've been with these people for in like 3 hours, and like how it is in an LRG. 3 hours is like 2 days, and it
It's
seemed
like
like a lifetime.
it's what you made blood brothers. You're never gonna vote them out.
Right. And so yeah, it is interesting to navigate that scenario for you. Like I'm sure it's got to be similar. Like everyone's coming in and you don't know what to think.
The
What
times I've
you've
been in like
seen.
13-person merges, it's just wild. You can't talk
Yeah.
to everyone. Everyone's everywhere. Things are scattered, and I can really see why people kind of settle like, well, what's the easy consensus? So what is something that we can get everyone on board with? That's because it's just a lot of people regularly. You don't really quite know where the battle lines are, what they're looking like, because people are kind of getting their feet set. And so I can kind of see why everyone's kind of being cagey, and like people are kind of like focusing on what are the easy names to push out. Let's not do anything crazy right now, but try to advance your agenda without like upsetting the world. And the problem is the main agenda ended up being like, hey, orange needs to go. We need to like kind of even the playing field as we go on from here on out.
Yeah. When you look at it on the surface, I think everyone is like, oh, thank God I made the merge. And it's like, well, let's find the easy vote and let's see where everyone lies. Because I think that's what everyone's trying to do, is get through that first initial vote so they can kind of see who is with who. And sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. It just depends on, who's talked to who and what deals have been made. But you're right. Mary says she ain't scared to say, because say is like a turtle and she ain't scared of turtles. So but we get to tribal, and it's charity. You have the votes. Talk me through the votes, and let's see if we can sense out of how people voted here.
I'm gonna go alphabetically.
Okay.
So Cedric voted charity, which makes sense. He's working with Say, theoretically. Chrissy voted charity, which is interesting because they're from the same tribe, but there's been some beef between them from the very start, I think.
But I think she got a new friend in Cedric, and so
David voted Say, which is interesting because we also know David also has no love lost between him and Charity.
Yeah.
Eva voted Say, which we can say makes sense because Eva knows that Say threw her name out. Joe voted Charity. Camila voted charity, so that's 2 original oranges voting for charity at this point. Kyle voted charity, so that's 3 original oranges who voted for charity.
But see, that's what I was saying when Shaheem was like, I don't think this Siva 6 is as strong as they think they are. Because clearly they're not. Yeah.
So far, 3 of the 4 original Orange Tribe has voted for a charity. Mary votes charity, so she doesn't vote Say. Mitch votes Say, which makes sense because he's working with charity. He's not going to write her name down. They're number ones. Say votes Cedric, because why not? Shaheen votes Say as well, which is interesting. Star votes charity. And then charity votes for Say. So we end up with 7 votes Charity, 5 votes Say, 1 vote Cedric.
Isn't that all right? So let's look at the one outlier, Cedric. Is like so to me, like Say can't be this blind in the game and go and not know like where the votes might be going. I know she knows that she's potentially it could be her, and she's not going to vote for herself and can't vote for herself. So the next is, well, let me do what everyone else is doing, and that's vote Charity. But instead, she votes Cedric as if I'm going to put his name out there, even though I know it's not going to matter and he's not going to go home. But like, I want to make a point, and I want him to know, like, I will write his name down. But it's almost like it's kind of stupid because it's like, well, what are you trying to prove by that?
So I guess like 2 things in mind. First, shot in the dark insurance. Maybe Say thinks everyone is voting Charity, and she's concerned about Charity casting 1 vote for her with an idol, or she's concerned that shot in the dark will be played and Say goes home to revote. So maybe this is like, of all the people to get rid of, she throws Cedric under the bus. The second idea is this is just a hinky vote. This is she's a one-off vote she's making where she's going to lie and never disclose who did it, and therefore Cedric's going to be more paranoid and maybe will need her more because he's concerned someone else may be gunning for him.
Maybe, but if I'm Cedric, like I would immediately be like, "Why'd you vote for me?" Like,
did she disguise her handwriting? That's the real question.
I think honestly, I think Say's going to be like, Cedric, I voted for you. I just think
return the favor.
Yeah. So let's look at some of these others. So Kyle and Camilla are lockstep with each other. They both decide to not go Siva 6 and go and vote Charity.
Because what's wild is like, it's like, was this an orchestrated split, or is this just kind of how it accidentally tumbled? But like Kyle and Camila could have voted out Say and preserved the Siva 6 had they known like it was gonna be like this.
I mean, even if Chrissy wants to vote the same way Cedric votes, at least at that point, if Kyle and Camilla stay true, you have a tie, and then you have a revote. But I don't know. I think it's just how the swaps and how things landed with who was talking to who. And I think Camilla and Kyle being with who they were and how it played out, I think they're looked in different light from the others, and they want to try to hold on to them.
Oh yeah.
So I can see how I don't think it was a orchestrated split. I think it just kind of lucked up to be that. But my question is now, like now Charity is gone. Now what? Now
I mean, is it going to be like the Green Tribe is the Kingmakers, and you have kind of Orange and Purple taking pot shots with the expendable members, maybe getting so like who's maybe expendable from Purple, Star perhaps, and then who's expendable from like Original Orange? Maybe Mitch is now exposed. Maybe Chrissy. I don't know. And I think again, if we're going into these like this 2 tribes of 6 for a vote, like it's so random how it's going to look. Like if one group has the majority, there's like, well, who do we want to take out from the other?
Well, you see the previews for the next episode, for tomorrow night's episode. It says, it's Kyle and Camilla who are continuing to work together. They want to blindside Shaheen. So, which I don't disagree with that. Okay, cool. That's the route you want to go. But how do they make that happen?
I mean, I think you need to get Say, Mary, and Cedric on board. Like you roll in green, and then you bring back together kind of Original Orange. Say, hey, let's try to make this happen. That said, it's rough. Like you have all these potential alliances that are untested. Shaheen's in several of these potential alliances. He's in like that Green 2.0 alliance where like Kyle and Camila says, like, we feel great about Shaheen and Joe. Then Shaheen's in this like big dude and Eva alliance. Like Kyle's in as well. And so how much of those are real? How much of those are fake?
I think, if that's the route that Kyle and Camila are going to have to go, they're going to have to get Mitch to use his block a vote on Shaheen.
And how much is this their pre-challenge idea that's immediately nullified because Shaheen like wins the challenge because he
right.
Like it's just the general irony of these episodes.
That's usually what happens. You have this big bold idea and this plan, and it starts getting set in motion, and then shit, they win immunity, and you're like, well, who's next?
Mm-hmm.
Let's play that game then. All right, let's say it's Shaheen, and then he wins immunity. Like, then who?
I don't know.
Yeah, Then I start thinking, all right, now it becomes this Cedric and Say situation where like Say's already been out there.
Yeah.
Her name's there. Like, it seems like the movement for that could be easy. Cedric is already willing to vote for Say. He's said it and done it multiple times. Mary doesn't really care. And so there's two that voted together this past week that on any given week would vote against her.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think you could pull that off pretty easily without even having Mitch use a block a vote or anything and just be done with
it. I think again, it all depends. Like, does Cedric learn that Say wrote his name down? And maybe Say and Mary just like, Mary and Cedric just like, we gotta let her go. It's time. Let's this is happening. It's just us two. And heck, are Mary and Cedric even close? I don't even think so.
Mary's trying to distance herself, even though she's voting with them. If I was
what's the line she said? Like, I wouldn't be wearing green unless this is the only clothes I had to wear.
Right. Tell me how you feel, Mary. But a good episode nonetheless. Before we close out, Steven, I'll ask you this. All right. Survivor, suicide pool, whatever you want to call it. All right. I went with Mitch last week. I'm good to go. Who's my pick this week?
Because I think Mitch would be a really good pick for this week too.
I'll tell you who I want to pick.
Okay.
Is Star.
Yeah, I actually think that's okay. I was thinking Star or Eva, as two of the people. I don't think. I really like the Star content this last episode. I loved her I loved her soliloquy. I loved her comforting Cedric. I loved her confessionals. I think Star has some longevity to her that will be beyond this next episode.
Maybe that's it. We'll see. I got I don't know, 22 hours to decide. What's that?
Have you selected Say yet for any episode?
No, I'm leery to select her for anything.
Because inevitably you pick her into the episode she goes home.
Right. Let me see. Who all have I picked? Let's see if I can remember. There's Mitch. I picked David. I picked Charity. I picked Chrissy. I picked who else? There's one more. I don't know, but so far so good. I
think if you're nervous, I think Kyle or Camila might be the safest two picks I can think of right now.
And so part of me is like, all right, so yes, I thought about just going with Kyle and go, all right, I don't know if he's going to win the game. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I do know I think he's in a position where he's pretty solid for next week, Camila as well. But at some point it's like, all right, well, I don't think Star is going to win, and I think her time is going to be shorter than Kyle's, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's, this is one of those luck things, man. I just got to luck into it. It's leaning. Yep, it's leaning towards Star, but Another good episode nonetheless. What do you got? What's plug and promote time, Steven? What's out there? What we got?
Surviving Bloomington just did a fascinating avant-garde episode. Are you watching that season right now?
I am. Very good.
It's almost like a choose your own adventure with you get to choose how you want to watch the episode. And did you realize there's 2 different versions of each tribe going to tribal council, Daniel?
Now that you say that, I do. And I thought to myself, something's different. And now it.
Yes. So essentially,
sounds, it's like,
based off the route you take, you might watch different versions, same episode, and like there's different stuff in each version, which really blew my mind when I was like trying to take notes to like prep for podcasting on it. So I've watched the Red Tribe Tribal Council. I've not done the Blue Tribe stuff yet, so that's on my to-do list. So on top of that, the LRG Awards at least have announced all the nominees they received, and I don't know how you pick between all the great games and people, but someone has to. So good luck to the nomination crew.
Yeah, I don't want to say any names. I will shamelessly say Survivor Angelica.
Doesn't name names, names a name.
Yep. As far as like player of the year, like everyone is so great. Jamie Bourne, great person. Stephen Lupo, great person. Those are the only 2 that I've had the chance to meet and talk to or play with. So they are deserving, but I'm sure all of them are deserving, but I can only speak to them. So
yeah, we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting.
Absolutely. We've got some things in the works out there. If you want to know where to apply, all right, the LRG casting on Instagram. Let's see. Let's look out there. Survivor Russville. You've got there it is. Stranded. I think it's casting now. I think
it's
today.
New Jersey. It's like 2-day game.
Yep, 26th and 27th of July. Hey, do your thing. Marooned is out there August 4th through the 9th. That's Vancouver, British Columbia. Let's go. You've got a one-day Survivor game. Survivor Ball Squares back. You got the P&W Pacific Northwest Mole, September 12th through 14th. You've got competitive events. Summer 2025, those applications close on the 15th. That's in New Jersey. You've got Big Brother Cincinnati. It's a mini. It's season 1 application. That'll be in October. Survivor Brantford. That's in August, the end of August. And then Big Brother Cincinnati, October 24th through 27th. All of those are currently ready for your application. So go to Instagram, LRG_casting. If you look at the profile, there's a place that says applications now. Click on it, and it gives you it gives you a whole bunch of them. So go check it out, and I promise you, make the leap, do what you got to do. You won't be disappointed. Make some new friends, become part of the community. If you're someone that's already in it, hey, you know the drill. Go do your thing. But the Live Reality Games Awards are out there. The nominations have been set. The categories are ready to roll. It just comes down to the votes. When can you vote till?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Well, we'll find out next week. I'll let y'all know. I'm sure it'll be open for a good hot minute. So y'all go make your votes, represent your LRG, represent your friends, your people, and more importantly, and I say this with all sincerity, go and vote for who deserves it. Don't just go vote because you like the person, but they were voted out first. Like, vote for people that deserve it. Watch the games. Go check it out.
Unless it's one category in particular, the podcast category.
There it is. Let's go. Podcast. Live Reality Games Podcast. Steven Stewart. That's the guy.
I don't know whether it's like the LRG podcast as a whole, if we're nominating certain, like, because like there's the Orca pod, there's like certain like podcasters within the network, we'll call ourselves. But yeah, vote for podcasters.
Yeah, it's a new category, right? New category?
Yeah, I don't think we had it last year.
Okay. Hey, just go vote for somebody. And represent us, because we spend some time and we love doing this and we love breaking it down and talking about it. And I'll say this: I've had people reach out to me going, "Hey, will you do recaps of my season?" Absolutely, I will. But I need to know in advance. So just let me know. If you want a recap for your season, you got to let me know so I can plug it in. All right. Steven, anything left before we bounce out of here?
No, looking forward to seeing the episodes later this week.
That's right. So y'all stick around. Tomorrow night, another episode of Survivor season 48 will be episode 7. Steven and I will be back next week to break it all down. For me, for Steven, this is the Live Reality Games podcast. We will check y'all later. Be good. If you can't be good, be safe. We're out.